and welcome back to Heiner Builds Your Ride. If you guys have been asking yourself if you can make a serious overlanding car out of an Isuzu D-Max, I've got quite the episode for you, but let's roll the intro first. Let's start with something that we haven't done on this car, and that is this bull bar. It's the AFN bull bar. I mean, that is just brilliant. The bash plates, the way they go down, the recovery point, big winch in the front here, and then we've put the Sentinel lights on here, the XRS 370 two-way kit, and there's more in here. There's a big 250 amp fuse for a really big 250 amp alternator that we've put down there because this car has got a serious charging system. So the same alternator that we usually put in the 70 series, we fitted to this 3-liter turbo diesel engine so we can make sure it can charge properly, because in the back we've got a 400 amp hour lithium bank. In here we've got our normal power pickups, so you see the car's a bit dirty, it's been out and about a few times already. We've got our driving lights that we pick up from here, and we've got our DC hub that we pick up from here, and then we got driving light relays down there, extra ground also to the winch in the front here, and then there's some breathers up here, but that hasn't been installed by us, but it's just a nice addition to the vehicle. I close this because on this car it's the first time that we've installed a Starlink system. If you have a look on the roof, you see there's a Starlink aerial right there. So this vehicle has got internet reception wherever you are on this planet, unless you park under trees or in underground parking, then you probably don't have any reception anymore. But if you got clear view to the sky, then you will always have internet. And then I'll show you the back first. This is where the Starlink router lives. It's just constantly plugged into 240 volt. Up here we've got the whole charging system. So we got two Redarc BCDC core chargers. That's a 1240 and that's a 1225. So we get 65 amps of charging from the alternator. We have got a water pump that you can turn on from this side because we have got a water outlet right here for the kitchen. That's a drink water outlet. And then we've got an upright fridge right here. This has all been installed by MITS Alloy, if I'm not mistaken. So you got your pantry in here. And you've got some really nice big storage with a pull-out table here as well. And of course, a travel buddy, which I still think is one of the most handy things if you do long drives and you don't feel like cooking in the evening. You can just chuck something in there throughout the day, make sure it's hot, and in the evening when you feel like eating, you just have something to eat. There's no mess, nothing really to clean up. So once you arrive at camp, you can sit down, relax, talk to your friends, have a bonfire, have a few drinks, and when you get tipsy enough and you actually want to have something to eat, it's already cooked for you. Love it. We put lights in here as well. So there's a national lunar light here on this side. There's one on the other side as well, of course. If you come around here, you see we've put our laser lamps lights in the two rear corners and into the front left-hand and right-hand corner as well. So you can illuminate the whole area around the car when you're stationary. You can also clip orange covers onto these, and we've made them in a way so you can swivel them if you want to, so you can illuminate different areas around the car. The other ones are here, and on the other side, of course, as well. And then on this side here, we've got the big charging system. We've got a national lunar light up here too. And then in here, we've got the Touch 50 with the Cerbo GX. And on the Cerbo GX, we have got a 3G, 4G modem, which allows us to remote connect to the system. So just in case the customer's got a problem somewhere in the middle of nowhere, but he's got phone reception, he can call us and we can remote log into the system and do remote troubleshooting on the system. We can even do software updates remotely, change settings if we have to, all thanks to the great interconnectivity of Victron product. In my opinion, this system from Victron together, as you can see, we've got the 3 kVA Multiplus, we've got a 30 amp solar regulator in there. So everything talks to each other. So you've got the Multiplus coming up on the screen here. You can see how much you're importing, you can see how much you're producing, state of charge of the battery. You can see what your DC system is doing. You can see what your solar system is doing in here. All of this combined, together with the DC-DC chargers from Redarc, in my opinion, is one of the best systems you can get at the moment. And we've got 400 amp hours of lithium storage here, so there's two 200 amp hours of Amptron lithium batteries, which easily run this. The customer has done a few trips already, and he's been doing nothing but induction cooking, and he said it works an absolute treat. We've got a 120 watt solar panel on the roof, and we've got a 300 watt solar blanket to plug in, and it's enough for him to recharge the batteries even when he's stationary. He's also got a 10-liter Duoetto water heater system in here, which he can turn on from the cab, and it's also plugged into 240 here, so in case he wants to boost charge the water, he can use 240 volt to boost charge the water. And then we've got a deconstructed water hub system here where he can adjust his shower temperature, and he's got a shower outlet and a drink water, and an external pickup here. So if he wants to suck in water from an external source, he can suck that in here. He can then use the dirt water pump, and it will only pump out water out of the shower outlet on this side. The tap outlet on the other side is completely disconnected from any dirt water. It uses a different pump, different lines, only takes water out from the tank. And that way we make sure that we do not cross-contaminate the drink water source in this car. But whenever you find some water that's not good enough for drinking, but easily good enough for showering or washing dishes, you can just use a collapsible bucket, or this customer has got a proper bucket with him, fill that up with water, drop the external suction in there, or even use a jerry can if you want, if you got one with you. And you can use that for showering or just for washing dishes. In here we've got the ARB twin piston compressor together with an air tank. That's a 4-liter air tank. You can turn the system on here, plug in your tire inflating gear, or plug in air blower, just in case you want to clean out the car on long trips and you get dust everywhere. So you can just blow everything out. It's like a modern day dust brush, really. In the cab here, we've got switches for the work lights, so you can activate all the work lights from the cab. The idea for that is that when you do some nighttime driving and you get into a few gnarly situations, you can just turn the lights on all the way around your car. So that way, usually when you got your lights on the car and you drive past an obstacle, as soon as you go past here, everything's dark. You can't see where you're driving anymore. So that way, you can turn these lights on. They'll illuminate this whole side, and then you can turn the lights on the back on, and you get 360-degree light around your car, and you can drive at nighttime just the same as if you would be driving at daytime, which is really important. If you go past something where there's a really deep drop-off right next to your car, you turn the light on the side and you can still see how far away from that drop-off you are, which I think is really important when you're seriously off-roading at night. In here we've also put some RJ45 pass-through for the GME XRS 370, so you can just unplug that and put it in the glove box if you don't use it. And if you want to use it, you can have it there, or you can also put it up here. There's a second holder, so if you want to talk, you can just press the button. You don't even have to move the unit itself. And then in here, this switch is for the water heater. So if you're driving along and you know you're gonna be wanting a shower later on, you don't have to heat up the water when you're at camp. While you're still driving, you just press the button, control light turns on, and the water heater turns on in the back and preheats the water for you. It takes, depending on the water temperature, in between 1 and 1.5 hours. And when you arrive at camp, you've got 10 liters of 70-degree hot water that you can use for a shower, you can use to wash dishes, or whatever else you might have that you need hot water for later on. And 10 liters mixed with cold water, which you usually have at around 20 degrees roughly, easily makes for 20 liters of shower water, which is probably a lot more than you actually need for a good camp shower. The customer has added a few nice extra little things, a very simple tire pressure monitor as well, that's solar operated. And we've also supplied him with a water tank in the back here. Yep. So this is a 40-liter Footwell water tank. This holds the same amount of water than 2 jerry cans, and you've got an outlet on either side. It's plumbed together to that side, and it's quite a good way of carrying an extra 40 liter, because instead of having it hanging off the back of your car, you can store it really down low and in the middle in between the axles, which is probably the best spot to put some extra weight. So these are really brilliant off the shelves. The company that makes them is called Boab, and you can buy them directly through our shop, perthpro.com.au. They're called a Footwell tank. Also in here, because you can't see anything out the back, we put a camera on the back of the canopy, and then we've got a screen right here, so when the car turns on, you see that screen turns on, it's permanently on, and you can use it just the same way as you would use a normal rear view mirror. So I think this thing is an awesome overlander. You've got the rooftop tent up the top there as well. You've got an awning on the side. You've got all the kit that you need. You can do induction cooking, you have showers. This is a serious overlanding car. Probably the first one that I've seen and built in a D-Max. So the only thing left to do here is to give this car our patch of approval. This one here is now ready to drive anywhere. Thanks and see you for the next episode.